Welcome to 2 Cents Short of a Dollar, the show where we give our 2 cents and keep it 100. We're your hosts. That's Motiz. I'm Rue, back again, and today we're in the world of boxing, and I want to talk about what I feel like we always talk about, but for some reason they give us content to talk about, and that's Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. And I guess my question for you is, they're both respected fighters, right? However you feel, they're respected fighters, they're commendable fighters, but is this whole back and forth getting too disrespectful? Is it going too far when we're prize fighters and we're talking about we can meet up in the street and brawl it out?
I think it is getting to a point where it's getting excessive, but also I'm really I'm a believer, or I'm a huge advocate of, if that's what you want to do, go for it. Just understand the negative ramifications that comes from those actions, right? Mm-hmm. So, because I can't tell Devin Haney how he should feel when another man is telling him when he sees him, he's going to smack him, right? Mm-hmm. Like that type of, now you're taking it there. Now I have no choice but to respond in kind, So sometimes in situations, there is that one individual that starts it, and it has to be someone else to finish it, unfortunately. So, but I would say it's probably in the best interest of both camps to just settle it in the ring. And I think that's what's going to happen, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Right. I hope it doesn't kind of go further in the streets than it needs to be, right? Because like you mentioned, they're prize fighters. It doesn't necessarily have to go that far. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Is any of it just giving you promo vibes? Like we're just kind of like feeding into this, and it's like, okay, like maybe it's not planned, but it's like, all right, he kind of just violated. I'm gonna violate because I know in the long run this is just building the fight. Or do you think the sides are really frustrated? Maybe more so Shakur Stevenson's side being frustrated.
Yeah, honestly, I think if I had to choose someone that was trolling a bit more, I want to say Shakur might have been trolling more. Mm-hmm. And I think Devin Haney genuinely felt disrespected, right? Like in that sense, like, and that's why he kind of retaliated by just with the verbal assault. But because you got to think, Shakur Stevenson, if I remember correctly, he's the one that said he was going to smack Devin Haney first, and he called his father the B word, right? So he kind of incorporated his family and said he was going to lay hands on him, and then Devin Haney kind of responded in kind, right? So I don't know. I think it's more so frustration on both sides to a degree, and I think Shakur was a bit serious, and I think he was saying it just kind of like out of frustration, but I don't think he really truly meant it in a way that that's something he would do. But then again, I don't know. What about you?
No, I don't think we're going to see any kind of like street activity or anything here. I do think Shakur is frustrated. I think he figures this should be a smoother process. I think he's like, I know you, Devin. Like, I can fight. I'm good. I should be worth this. Give me a fair split and let's get it on. However, that's just not how the business of boxing works, right? But I do think it's just his frustration leaking out. And I think I don't know what Devin does, but Devin does something to get under people's skin behind the scenes. You know what I'm saying? Because Regis is very frustrated with Devin as well, right? So Devin does something. I don't know what it is, but he gets under people's skin. But I do think it's frustration on Shakur's part. But unfortunately, there's always the business of boxing, and does this make sense, or what's most advantageous for myself? You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and at the end of the day, I think they had this respectable friendship. But I think Devin's kind of like, bro, like, I don't owe you a damn thing. And then Shakur is like, nah, like, I'm Shakur, which probably means something in certain circles. But I guess from the business aspect, maybe not. So it's kind of tricky. I can't tell you who I think is right or wrong, but I empathize with Shakur's frustration only because I want to see the fight. But I guess, Devin's probably, I don't even know if Devin's going to fight at 135. That's the craziest part, right? It sounds like he's moved up, but, until he really announces what he's done, it's hard to say. But, he feels like he was slighted en route to becoming undisputed. So now he kind of feels like, okay, I'm going to get mines to make up for when I didn't get mine. And am I going to knock someone for trying to get theirs? No, but if you want to make the biggest fights happen, sometimes you have to, I guess, take concessions a la Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, right?
Yeah.
I guess there were certain things that each of them wanted, and they had to kind of like come together and make it happen. So I feel like it's a similar situation here. Like, you guys got to come together and make this happen. If you want to make it happen, if you're not going to fight at 135 anymore, and Shakur, you're not going to immediately move up to 140, then just leave this alone because you're wasting everybody's time at that point.
Agree. Yeah, I 100% agree. I wonder what made Shakur kind of, I guess, go all out like that though, because then sometimes things can happen in the back door things, right? Like he may have heard something that prompted him, like, nah, I'm about to go crazy on him. He leaked even the footage of his father saying, "Yo, Shakur was the man, like he was the guy. We trying to, you know what I mean?" So like, I wonder what really prompted it right then and there, like what sparked it,
Whatever happened probably didn't come from Devin. It probably came from Bill. Just the history that we've been seeing. Bill probably said something that got back to Shakur. Because
probably.
I think that's also the frustrating part, right? You keep hearing from Bill. Bill says this, Bill says that, but you're like, yo, me and you got to get it on. So how do you feel? You say something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think a lot of times, Devin's kind of just like, real quiet. But I'm sure the things he's saying is what Bill is, iterating. But it's just like, can we hear it from you, Devin? How do you really feel? Do you want to fight? What do you want to do? You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to push him very far to finally get a response from Devin. And I think that's very annoying to Shakur.
Yeah. Man, that'll be a tremendous fight though. But it'll be a tremendous fight, that three with the three kings, Shakur, Tank, Devin,
Yeah. So
that whole three right there, that'll be a fantastic fight. But yeah, we just got to see exactly what Devin does, if he stays at 140 or if she takes that fight and with Regis, and if that fight happens, I guess there's a lot of unanswered questions. So,
and I think the rumor is that Shakur is supposed to fight Frank Martin, right? And that's for the WBC.
Yes, I get WBC qualifier because they haven't even stripped Devin Haney yet. So it's like,
okay,
that's another thing. But yeah, the rumors are Shakur will be fighting Frank Martin next.
Okay. I mean, that's a whole different topic. But do you give? I think everyone's gonna have Shakur as the favorite, right? Do you give Frank Martin any kind of chance in that fight?
I think anyone that doesn't give Frank Martin a chance is got to be a bit deluded, right? Everyone always has a puncher's chance, right? The likelihood of him winning is probably very low, right? I think it's unlikely Frank Martin beats Shakur Stevenson. But if I had to give a percentage out of 100, I would probably say his chance maybe, I would say 70-30, to be honest, right now.
Okay. That's fair.
His last performance, I would say 70-30.
Yeah. Because thing with Frank is Frank can punch, but obviously it's very hard to hit Shakur, but Frank can punch. And he's cerebral as well, even though Shakur is as well. So it's just a matter of, in the chess match, can he impose his will somewhat, which we really haven't seen anyone successfully do when it comes to Shakur. But I get what you're saying. Everyone has a puncher's chance, and if that was for like a qualifier or a title eliminator, I guess, I thought it was for the WBC, so I was actually mistaken there. So it's like we still don't know what Devin's doing.
Yeah, definitely double check. From the article I was reading, they were saying it was like a WBC like qualifier, because in the article it was also saying that they haven't stripped Devin Haney yet. So once they do, they'll just elevate the winner of those two fighters to the WBC. But it was like, because then what happens if they do fight and Devin doesn't fight with Regis? What happens? Like, I guess they're mandated to fight Devin Haney, or if Devin Haney decides to fight Regis, do they strip him and kind of pull the Charlo versus Canelo act, right? What happens, So,
and I think that confusion is what's leading to everyone's frustration right now.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you think? Is Devin and Shakur going just too far? Is it getting too far away from the sport of boxing? Do we want them to just keep it in the ring, or is it entertaining? Or are you just like loving what's going on right now? Definitely comment, subscribe. We want to hear what's going on from the viewers out there. Appreciate the support.